Hi, I'm George with the Petaluma Church of Christ, and this is video 2 of us looking at this idea about loving ourselves. In our last video, we talked about that we can be really harsh on ourselves. We can really judge ourselves harshly, and that we need to be people that give and receive the love of God that God has for us. Now, what I want to do now is really start looking in, and we're going to do this in the next few videos, is looking really what does the Bible have to say about loving yourself, and kind of get us over the idea that this idea of loving ourselves is being selfish, because we have worth in our identity in Jesus Christ. And I think sometimes as Christians, we have a conflict between my self-worth and finding our identity in Christ, because we believe that that's selfish or I'm being arrogant. But having our identity in Christ, because Christ has loved us, God's made us, God's loved us, God's done all of this. And so we need to have that expression of what the love God's poured into us, really loving ourselves. And it's not in a sense of being selfish or arrogant to do that. We're going to look at some passages today. So 1 John chapter 4 verse 19 says, "We love because he first loved us." Now, it's not just talking about giving love to others. And that's a lot of times what we'll do when we come to this passage. Like, we need to love others, which we do. But God is telling us to love others in the same way we love ourselves. In Matthew chapter 22, starting in verse 36, a person came to Jesus and asked this question, said, "Teacher, which is the great commandment of the law?" And Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your soul. This is the great and the foremost commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depends the whole law and the prophets." So God is giving us permission to love ourselves. So in a sense, he's saying for us to love others, it equals our love for self. Like, we love ourselves, we're going to love others. As God pours into us, we're going to love others with that same love. And so if we don't have love for self, how are we going to be able to give love to others? And that's going to be the challenge. And so that's why it's kind of key for us to know who we are, to be able to have love and appreciation for who we are, and knowing what God is doing in us so that we can love others as we love ourselves. Again, I'm George with the Petaluma Church of Christ. If you want to know more in this series, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any comments, please put them down below. And until next time, God bless.